If the people were going to use it to make irrational decisions that would affect my life, then yes, that hope has to be taken away. But I can understand would be situations, there are different types of people that do need that. It's a human emotion, and I think it's
that they don't need it. You don't go out and you say, I'm going to get hope. It's part of how you view the world or how you view your own life. I think it's already part of anyone. You can as you grow older, your wisdom comes from realizing that I had hope about that part of my life or that in a society, and that it couldn't be, I didn't realize it. But that wisdom means that when you look at your next circumstance and situation, you look and you see where hope falls into place. I mean, for me, I think it's just part of who we are.
So you're saying that hope really comes from that part of the brain which is more emotional rather than that part of the brain that is analytical.
Exactly. I think, yes. And I think that's why, I can understand Doug feeling that maybe there's a separate part of it.
In this same affirmation, it says, and I'm sure we agree with them, saying learning in the place of dogma, of course, truth instead of ignorance. And what I was trying to think of before was the saying that says,
lost it again.
It's folly to be wise. Where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. Now, what do you think of that? How does that tie in with truth instead of ignorance?
I think we see that just in our science anyway, that the scientists and the methods that are out there, they look out there and they see some things coming that if they were to be truly honest, that when the ice caps melt, you can't create ice just overnight and say, well, we'll fix this ice problem because it's already gone. So I think in science, they can look out and say, we have the knowledge that the what it's going to take to solve our problems are truly hard issues. And so we allow humankind to keep going along before the truth starts hitting them, before all that hope that it'll be better. They're going to have to face some hard truths. But that's those turning points in our growth as people around the world. So
in keeping with that, if someone says, I am so happy with what I am and what I know, don't try to educate me because I'm happy this way and I don't want to be wise. Is that a bad position to take?
You mean is that bad for them to take that?
Well, is it wrong? Would you say let's get that person straightened out?
I would say as long as it doesn't affect anyone else's life.
Yes,
it's
right.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. And I'm sure that one of these affirmations says something to the effect that it's okay as long as it's not infringing upon other people.
Right.
We still have a few minutes left, and I can pick out some more of these affirmations. But are there some on here that you particularly would like to talk about? If not, I can keep going.
Well, I have one that I think, and because it's high up on the list, and we decided that we didn't think these were done in order of importance.
I'm sure that they are not in that sequence.
But it is important that this one is in there. I think we deplore efforts to denigrate human intelligence, to seek to explain the world in supernatural terms, and to look outside nature for salvation. And I think it's interesting that this is so pervasive in our society that we do denigrate intelligence or the attempts to better one's ability to think. And I mean, you have to admit this particular election cycle has sort of exposed that, to say that we don't want the elitists, whoever those people are, to control things. Or, well, don't we want elitism in science and technology and our machines? So I think, to me, that's an important one that it stands out to me, that we do denigrate human intelligence in our society. As much as we say we want people to go to the best schools, then we turn around and say, but we really don't want you telling us what to do. So.
Well, I think a prime example of denigrating human intelligence is the teaching of creationism in schools. Now, religious schools, church schools, have every right to teach what they want to, but the people who want to support creationism around this country are constantly trying to sneak it into public school science classes. And so that is, I would say, a real good instance of denigrating human intelligence, because the intelligent people, the scientists, have a much more responsible explanation for the beginnings of the universe and of humankind than what the creationists do. So, but now the word deplore, what does that mean to you? We deplore those efforts.
Well, they're just not constructive to humanity. So,
but does it imply that we should do something about it?
It's a very benign verb. I agree. It's very benign.
Okay. So, all right. Well, is there another one on here you want to talk about, or I'll pick one for you if you want me to?
You pick one.
Yes.
All right. Number 10 says we want to protect and enhance the earth, to preserve it for future generations, and to avoid inflicting needless suffering on other species. What about that? Is there anything wrong with that?
No, I actually agree. One of my second biggest issues is the way we treat animals in our society. I'm a meat eater. I'm not a vegetarian.
Yes.
But what deplores me, especially after moving to Louisiana, is there's lots of hunting. I find it difficult to see how anyone can get pleasure from hunting down and killing an animal. That to me is inhumane. And I suppose you could go back to even fishing, which is very popular.
I was going to ask you whether that includes fishing.
When I was a kid, I used to sit in my backyard with a hammer and I used to kill ants. And even that has a moral, because and pull the wings off of insects.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad that you've outgrown that.
Yes.
And listen, I hate to tell you this, but our time is up.
Okay.
And there are many other things on here we might discuss, but I think it's been interesting talking about the affirmations that we did.